First time every time, right? Hello, hello, welcome. Hello, hello. You should make some crazy monsters that live in the cloud, like a snake. Yeah, well, I mean, isn't that crazy now? They already exist. Can you guys let me know how the audio sounds? Is it too loud? Okay, yeah. I'm a bit quiet. My mic is all the way up, so I'm going to turn down my desktop. Let's see how that I could try changing this too. Probably gonna get more background noise like this though. Alright, let me know how this sounds. Hello, hello. How's this sound? That's better? Okay. Let me know if you want me to turn the other background audio down or anything like that. How are you guys all doing today? Having a good Sunday? I think it's Sunday, right? Yeah, it's Sunday. Got it right. Well, I'm doing all right. My kid was sick for a bunch of this week, so didn't get to do too much work because I wasn't on yesterday. But he's doing a lot better, so I'm doing a lot better. What's on the docket for today? I want to get into Cloudrunners and equipment. And see if I can come up with some cooler ideas for that with you guys. It's called Ship Dockyards. Yeah. Trying to get some inspiration here. This kind of video is really cool for imagining going across this kind of stuff. Is this real? I can't tell if this is real or fake. But it's cool. Are there suspension bridges in Cloudrunner? Yeah, I would think so. I'm gonna make a video on how humans got up in the clouds. I mean, I don't think so. I think they've been there so long that it's not. I mean, my kind of it's like the thing is inside this world they wouldn't know. So I don't think I would ever have to write about that. It's just kind of the way the world's been. My kind of ideas are it could either have been that people have or that it collided with some kind of gas giant or moon or something like that, or and so it kind of all this gas layer settled at that certain level in the atmosphere, and there were some people above the clouds and they kind of survived and stayed up there. Either that or some kind of leak from inside the planet. But I feel like they've been up there for thousands of years, so they wouldn't even know. It might be myth or something like that. Uh, hello, hello. Are you gonna cover religion? I'm sure, yeah. I definitely have this idea for like some kind of cult that thinks there's something beneath the clouds, or beneath the gas layer. I mean, and they're right, but everybody thinks they're crazy. But other than that, I haven't thought of that yet at all. So it'll be something to get into. Maybe nuclear war. I mean, I kind of like keeping it, like it's a cool idea, but I kind of like the idea of keeping it like pure fantasy in my mind at least. Like it's a cool idea to think of things being like it's like in the future, but then also fantasy. But I kind of like just the feel of pure fantasy for me, for this world at least. What I miss? Nothing. We're just getting started. This is kind of what I wanted to get for photo. Just want to grab a photo that gives a sense of the setting. And then when we're getting into how they're getting across these clouds, we can kind of see it in our mind. See them jumping from here to here or whatever. Climbing up this. Oh, that's a cool thought. Concerning religion, have you thought of funerary practices? And Tibetan sky burial might fit well. Uh, I I haven't thought of that at all. Space would be very. I mean, it'd be very expensive. So like, I can't imagine them. I can't imagine them burying them in the rock or anything like that. That'd be difficult. I would imagine some kind of like pyre at the highest spot they could do. They wouldn't want to go below the gas layer because I feel like that's kind of like taboo in their kind of in the kind of cultures. Like it'd be a big thing that they want to avoid. Would be the gas layer. Are cloud runners exclusively messengers and the like, or also warriors who fight wars? Yeah, they are warriors. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I'm imagining there's different kinds. May or may not talk a lot. Might just watch today. That's totally okay. Whatever you would like, as much as you want to participate or not is okay. I'm glad you're here, though. Would the Cloudrunner equipment be somewhat similar to three-dimensional maneuver equipment? I haven't looked into that at all. Let's see. You guys are gonna probably find it really quickly that I don't understand so many references because I don't watch much TV or movies or popular games, stuff like that much. I have no idea what I'm looking at. What do they do here? I mean, this is all like high-tech-ish stuff. Yeah, so I think their main equipment. I've done this. It's on my other monitor here. This is all I've done for Cloudrunner so far. It's this page here. So I'll actually bring this drawing over. I also just kind of find his design boring so far. But I'm really happy with some of the stuff I've got. I don't need the clouds here, I'm just kind of scribbling. So this was, I mean, my initial idea for a spear. I think like they would use it kind of as a ladder just to like run up the side of a cloud. We got the snowshoe kind of things. We got this kind of backpack. I want to design a little bit of this this grappling hook today. People were asking about that in the chat, in the Discord. So yeah, weapon. Yeah, they would have bows. I think bows would be a big thing. Probably like a really strong recurve bow. Using hooks that hit into walls and trees and the like. Glider thing from Avatar. Have they developed crossbows? Yeah, they have crossbows, I think. Crossbows are not that fast though, so the Cloudrunners probably wouldn't use them. But I mean, like they would use them on ships and stuff. They just take so long to reload, and you need a solid base to reload them, to kind of plant your feet on them. And they take so much longer to reload than a typical bow. Somebody sent this kind of arrow, so their bows I'm imagining would be more like I kind of like the idea of the like I mean there's going to be lots of different cultures, but I like the idea of like this nomad culture, focusing on this kind of Mongolian aesthetic. They have the coolest looking bows anyways. And they have this composite bow. It comes in like this has got like the part here, it's got the limbs, and then it's got this kind of over here, and they're all made of different things, and then they have the backing is a different kind of material with sinew. And I don't see really what I would change from that. They're really cool bows. What I was gonna say though is this crossbows are pretty heavy too. Yeah, it would be useful to cutter arrows is what I wanted to say. Yeah, so this is like this kind of thing, which would be used, I would imagine this would be used a lot in fights, because you shoot one of these at a rope and you can bring down kind of an enemy ship, cloud ship thing that we talked about like here. So if you cut enough of these on one side, for example, the whole thing would just kind of tip over. And they're already incentivized to have fairly light ropes because you want to keep the whole thing light. So I think cutting the ropes would be a really sort of important part of kind of their warfare. Basically this kind of look. They're much shorter bows than like with the recurve you can get a lot more power for the size. And they're really fun to shoot. I've been fairly into archery. I haven't done it for a while, but I have like 5 bows in my storage room here. I mean, the other thing we could put on here, we can put the fuzzy things that they put on here for muffling the sound, reducing the vibration. This is very nice to have. Kind of think they'd collect feathers, some of them. Cool looking feathers, so that kind of thing. What if they could tie the bow around their arms? Tie the bow around their arms for easier access and maybe steadier aim. Well, I mean, there's a lot of force that goes into a bow, so any way of tying it where you're not holding it, I don't imagine that working. having it in your hand just creates that kind of position that contains the force. I don't, unless I'm misunderstanding, I don't think that would work. So they'd have probably a mix of mainly just hunting arrows, broadheads. For the most part, broadheads for hunting and shooting other people if they needed to get into combat of any kind. Muskets and cannons, no gunpowder here. It's still beyond or before that. So in terms of technology, I didn't want to include any kind of gunpowder. I just really like the medieval pre-gunpowder kind of feel. And maybe they'd have lines, like fishing lines attached to the arrows. Yeah, that would work. It does, it really decreases. When you tie anything to an arrow, it really decreases the power of the arrow, though. But I think they would kind of have to for some of the hunting. Some of it would just be, it falls down and birds are light enough where they would just rest on top of the cloud for a few minutes. But if you see people when they're like bow fishing, they'll tell you it decreases the power of the arrow a lot. So they'd probably, depending on what they know they're going out for, they would probably take either more of one or the other kind of arrows. Despawning the dead bird model after a few minutes. Yeah, that sounds like a game mechanic. You are right. Obviously, Cloudrunners are a big part of the setting. Are they a big part of the population too? How common are they? No, I think they're very, very uncommon. Probably like less than 0.1%, like a lot less than that even. The Tibetan sky funeral idea is cool. Whoever suggested that, yeah. I think cremation would have to be the way to go in some sense. I don't know exactly. What is the Tibetan sky funeral? Is that like the pyre kind of thing? That is not what I was expecting. Okay. That would make sense. If they put them on a sort of on a wooden little platform on a cloud and then just pushed it out. Just leave it to the birds. That actually makes a lot of sense. I meant trying to tying around the arm, like folding it for easier access because it's on the arm. Well, folding bows would reduce their their power a lot. Their structure is really important, so I don't think folding it would really work. I mean, for something like a slingshot, it could do that for sure. But for a bow, I don't. Like, I can imagine something made of metal that would kind of like click into place and like fold, but if it's made out of wood, the structure is just so important that it would kind of reduce that if you had to have it go into pieces in any kind of way. I think it would, like, they are also not at a super advanced level as far as how they make things, so it'd be high quality, but I don't think something that complex would be easy for them. Slings and slingshots, yeah, I think so. That might be kind of a thing that they have instead of if they didn't want to take a bow, because especially if you're taking like a bow and a spear and arrows, that's so much stuff to be carrying. So this might be more of a war kind of Cloudrunner. It might just be taking a sling or a slingshot, and that would be a lot lighter weight, so it would probably also just be depending on what they're doing. A lot of people would probably be farmers considering the time scale. Yes, lots of farmers, lots of craftsmen, officials, navy, merchants. Yeah, exactly. Giant dragonflies would be cool as a creature that lived in lower levels of the clouds. Yeah, I like that idea. So I want to show a little bit of this grapple idea. I want to see if I can draw it a lot bigger. Yeah, I like this kind of idea. So You thought about some kind of disease plague that would infect the drinking cloud water? Yeah, I think they would probably want to. Would it live in the cloud whose some survived the boiling process? Is there anything in Earth that survives the boiling process? I haven't thought of that. I mean, I figured they would just kind of boil it, and that would kind of solve the problems. But I don't know. Is there if there's anything like that on Earth, we could definitely have that, but makes things so difficult. Grapple arrows can have a small net on the front. Grapple arrows don't work very well. It's way too heavy. I think they would throw grapples, but I think grapple arrows just kind of go down really quickly. I mean, they could, from a crossbow it might work, but from a typical bow, it's not gonna fire, like it's gonna fire about as far as it can throw. Especially because these ones aren't just like the typical grapple, it's like, it's gotta be really wide to catch the cloud. So I think a throwing grapple would be much more useful. Bacterial spores can withstand boiling water for over an hour. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. There's a guy on YouTube, I'll show you some of the videos he does. It's really cool. He's got these shorts about it.
So, grappling hook arrow.
Well, he's got here. I'll just show you the shorts, but he's got these whole videos on them.
Grappling hooks are cool, whether you're a pirate.
So a big shout out to this guy for testing all this kind of stuff.
High places. Swing
His
around.
name is Blumenek.
Really cool stuff. There's no wonder that some of the more adventurous archers in fiction started sticking them on the end of their arrows.
So,
but would that actually work? So I've got a heavy
what I've seen is it just kind of goes down pretty quickly.
Straight to shooting it at a tree. I cannot get this to hook on anything organically because these are just so tiny. So I need a bigger hook.
That's a really heavy one though, but see, it kind of goes, but that went what, like 15 feet or so. He's got all kinds of stuff though on his channel that I was watching about archery. He's doing grappling arrow, or was yeah, he did the rope cutting one here as well, which was really cool, and it worked. Would they have to worry about tornadoes forming giant pits in the clouds? I don't, like, the thing is with the way all the air and the wind and all that forms, it would be really slow. So if there was kind of tornado, it'd be something that's definitely something you get out of. These clouds are really dense and thick, so they're not moving at high speeds, and like wind, I just think the whole wind idea would be a lot slower than on Earth, so I don't think it'd be a huge danger. It's the world's dangerous enough. So these things can fold in. They've got these hinges here. These fold in like this. And then you just tie the whole thing together. But I'll draw an out, like a version that's extended, and then a version that's pulled in. And I imagine this whole thing is made out of wood. The archery twink. Oh my goodness. Well, the aphids are kind of cute. The grapple arrow has holes in it to reduce resistance. I don't know what you mean. Hole, like where would you put holes in it? Yeah, most of the stuff they're using is not metal except the arrowheads, which would be iron. So the idea with the grapple is copy another one. Fold in roughly like that, and then you just tie the rope around it. Holes in, yeah, I don't, like this would definitely not be able to be shot out of an arrow. There's no way. You'd want to throw it like overhand and catch it above a cloud. If it was shot with an arrow, it just wouldn't go very far. Your arm would probably throw it a lot better. Because the thing is, if you throw it overhand, it's just got this big arc to catch. You could shoot it up in the air the same way, I guess, but you can do that really well with your arm already. And an arrow is meant to be fired more straight and fast, and that would just create so much drag. I don't think it would work well. It's like a cool idea, but in practice I just don't think it would work. Like you can see how far he shot the arrow about 15 feet or so. People can shoot them. No, not that kind of grapple. Grappling hook. Just want to see people using them. What did he do? Did he shoot it? You can't tell. Did he throw it or did he shoot it? I want to see the grappling hook part. Yeah, that's the other thing. You swing it around and you get so much more momentum like that. See, like he threw it up and farther than the other guy shot the bow already. So I feel like that's more of what they would do. And it doesn't need to catch on anything specific, it's just kind of the center of the cloud. We've also got this really cool idea of these mask things up here that Inuit people would wear. And I really like this. They're like sunglasses basically to keep the glare, because you have, if you're on top of the clouds, the glare from the sun hitting the clouds would just be so bright. So I really like the idea of them using this kind of thing. Origami style techniques as a way to fold wingsuits or anything like that would be really cool. You know, I wonder if there's actually an origami kind of style. That's a really cool idea. Instead of like the grappling hook like that, if there was some way of it like some kind of frame that would kind of, maybe these are let's go back to this. So maybe these are all like just frames, and it's got like this kind of even canvas kind of webbing in between it. I wonder if that would work better. And so you fold it and it would fold into like a kind of sack, and then you throw it and it would open up. Well, kind of like an umbrella, I guess. But a simpler umbrella with the spring kind of thing in it. Yeah, I thought that was a really cool. Somebody suggested. I mean, I'm not going to take credit. Somebody suggested that in one of the comments. I had never even seen those in one of my videos. They commented with that idea, and I think it's super cool. So this might be a better idea. Honestly, like, to know, I literally have to build it and test it out. I have no idea which would work better. Tactical umbrella grapple. It might be like this. I'm not sure. Because that would fold. I mean, that would just kind of fold naturally in like an umbrella. That could work really well, actually. Like, this would definitely not work on rock, nor would this. But they're not using it on rock, they're using it on clouds. So I think that could be pretty cool. I've also kind of wondered, I don't know what you guys think, if they, because they could either be like really heavily clothed, or, I mean, they'd be getting like a lot of UV rays, or they could just be used to it and not wearing a lot of clothes. But I don't know what you guys think makes more sense. I've kind of struggled with both extremes of that. I think it'd be one or the other though. Because I feel like they would want to wear either, yeah, like lots of clothes and protect themselves from the sun. Or they'd be wearing fairly like, just kind of like shorts kind of thing. Could you use a metal hoop with a canvas sack to hook a cloud? A metal hoop. I guess so. I don't think you need to catch like a specific part of the cloud though, because you're going to, like the cloud kind of sticks together fairly well. So if you catch a good solid chunk of it, like maybe that big, you can pull in it's not going to just tear off of the cloud. So that's why I think something that comes from the middle and extends out would work better, because it's just going to be so much smaller. Having to carry a whole hoop around would be a lot. I like the idea, but I think it'd be just so much. It'd be so much to carry, and yeah, like I said, the cloud won't separate. Like it won't just, you won't, like if you pull a piece of cloud like this, you're not just gonna get like a little tube of cloud that pulls out a cloud. You're gonna, the cloud's gonna stick together fairly well. Grapple hook type tool. So you're thinking like a ring that you throw, and it's like maybe your hands like grabs it here. That kind of size, or are we thinking way bigger than that? And then this whole thing like fills up with a sack of cloud. Yeah, the higher you go, it gets colder. That is true. I imagine it'd be kind of hot running around there, but with the sun, but it'd also be cold. And also, this is during winter, so forget about that. That's we definitely want to have more clothes then. Yeah, I mean, I think this would just be more efficient for the amount of space, because like you fill this up with cloud, but then there's all like around it, like I don't know. I like the thinking, but I think this would probably be more efficient in terms of what you get for the amount you're pulling. The other thing I was thinking about, because somebody was asking how dangerous it is to drop from one cloud to another, would be that if you, like let's say you jump from a cloud up here. Let's draw it nicely. You jump from a cloud up here to something way down here. This cloud is not just gonna stay stationary, so it's going to like bob down. The whole thing will be like whoa, and then it'll like maybe slowly rise up a little bit. So I think that's one of the things that makes it so you could actually fall quite a bit farther than normal, because this, first of all, is more like cottony, fluffy. So it's not like hitting, even water will have almost more resistance in a way. But the cloud would just kind of like puff out like that. Oof. And you'd fall into the middle, and then you get up, and the whole thing would move down a little bit. If you stepped onto one, like if you just stepped onto a cloud over here, the cloud's just going to move down a little bit, depending on how big it is. Like there's a certain size let's say it's a cloud like that, it's not really gonna move at all. But if it's a little cloud like this, it's probably gonna start like sinking as soon as you step on it, slowly drifting down. Maybe a metal stone weight at the end of the grapple textile so it can unfold easier. Yeah, that makes sense. So, like, at the ends of here, you mean? That would make sense, yeah. Small boy clouds, danger. Big boy clouds, safe. Yeah. This doesn't look good, though. They could have more of like a grippy kind of angle to them. Made out of rock or iron or something. Just to be able to catch anything like if there's a wooden beam, it would be able to catch that a little bit better. Like a little just slight hook like this. That'd be kind of useful. Roughly speaking, how isolated is one spire from another? Do they have a lot of communication and trade? So the ones that are really close to each other, I need to make a map still, but basically the idea is, let's say there's a spire that's over here, and it's gonna have like lots of little pieces connected to this, and this will all just kind of be like an interconnected city basically, with bridges going across between them and stuff. The music just got crazy. Is that too loud, the music, or is that good? Just let me know. So that would kind of be interconnected like this, with rope bridges and more. I think it's too loud for me. Turn it down a little bit. Okay, so and then there would be farther away ones that are like that maybe, and that would have a few like ropes. Some of them would just have ropes, just like big ropes and a bunch of ropes from one to another. It wouldn't actually be a bridge, just kind of be a guideline for you to follow with a cloud, any kind of cloud transportation. And then there'd be other ones that might just have one line going out to it way far away to another island. And there'd be some that are so far out that they wouldn't have any, they wouldn't have any connection, but traders would still go, but it'd be a whole, like going for a few months to get over there maybe. That's the kind of idea. But a lot of the main continent kind of would be very interconnected. And then there'd be other continents that are further away that they would want to trade from, have really valuable trade, but it'd be a really big, difficult journey to get all the way over. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I want a little bit of everything. So there's really short trips, really long trips, and some kind of in between. Giant bridges are universally cool. Yes. Yeah, giant bridges would be a big thing to connect spires. Like if there's two cities on, because the thing is when you have mountain peaks, there's going to be lots of big ones that are close to each other, and so if they're close enough, they'd have a big bridge between them. All right. Let's do. Maybe we just kind of rework this guy. Let's make it bigger and detail it up a bit. You've thought about using stilts to traverse the mountain areas. Do you mean like what would stilts do? Do you mean stilts that people are wearing, or buildings built on stilts? So I wonder if they might have this. Oh, buildings on stilts. Okay. Yeah, I mean they'd be built on building like, yeah. Oh yeah, there'd be like tons of yeah, like stilts and kind of. Let's go back to my drawing from last week. This one, I think. So I want to draw more of this, but I imagine there being like lots of like scaffolding kind of stuff on the edges that would go out very, very far. Even having almost like extending out even quite like maybe all the way out to here. There'd be like scaffolding and that kind of stuff going way out. Because they also want little bridges and stuff like that, so they have the cloud wranglers can grab clouds and like go out far from the city, grab clouds and pull them in. So now we have to make these guys look cool. They've got sunglasses on, which is really cool. So I'd imagine they want this really wide field of vision. Want to see the video about craftsmen? Yeah, definitely. You've heard about cowboys, but now it's time for cloud boys. Yeah, that's awesome. So I imagine they would tie these onto the back of their. I know how silly this looks though. That looks kind of cool. So I think this, what they would have like this kind of loose. So this is just this kind of eyeglasses thing with the slits on it, like the Inuit design, is over top of the. Or would they just have, I mean, some of them might just be open. Are there any falconers in this world? Yes, definitely. I think that's a big thing here. So I'm gonna do like a more covered one, and then I'm gonna do a more like a. Or wild style, wild boy. Look where he's not covered with all this cloth. Just some of it. Is there any connection between the gas clouds and thick clouds? Well, the gas layer is like, it's just like a flat, maybe 20 meter kind of thick layer of gas. It's not exactly a cloud. I mean, it kind of is, but not exactly. But no, it's not really any connection. They would kind of just rise above that and be their own thing. They wouldn't have any of that gas in them. UV radiation become more harsh at elevations, right? So in addition to cold, they cover up to prevent sunburn. Yeah, I think that's a big thing here. Hello, Justin. It's giving me Snow Trooper vibes. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. It looks like a. It looks from Star Wars. It's those. I don't know what they're called. I think they're Imperial Guards or something. These guys. That's what the face mask reminds me of. Let's actually just draw this guy with a falcon, because that'd be really cool. It's another good reason to use these bracers for the archery, but then also just for the falcons. So being high altitude, I would assume the Cloudrunners hunt a lot of birds and cultivate mushrooms. Well, I mean, they would live in cities too. They're traveling between places, but yeah, they definitely cultivate on their kind of spires and stuff. They would have mushrooms. Why mushrooms? Just because they don't grow better at high altitude. I think it's just there's lots of moisture in this world, and it's also just kind of my way of I need something. So I have this idea of giant mushrooms that provide the wood as well, because you need like a lightweight hardwood kind of that grows plentifully. No, and I think a lot of the Cloudrunners would want to have companions too. They could help them hunt, and they'd just be friends. Yeah, fungus grows on rocky, damp locations. It grows everywhere. I'd actually need to look at some birds. Reference is important. I have I feel like they require more warm environments, so I think they would grow a lot more at lower altitudes in this world, where it is actually pretty warm and humid. I don't feel like they grow that well in cold, but I don't really know. Oh, hello, Katie. At the gym, listening to your stream instead of music. Awesome. Let's go. 3, 4, 8, 12, 14, 26, 38. I hope I got you off your count. Wait, who is Jago Doodles? Do I know you? You did get me off count. Sorry, not sorry. Hi, Nathan. I've been wondering, how would you use this ladder spear? Like, how would you throw it? Do you not throw? I don't think you'd throw it. I think it's more actually from, like, in terms of a spear, it's to defend yourself from birds coming in. Like, I imagine there being really large birds that would come attack. And so you just kind of plant it in front of you, and then they would not want to attack, or they'd get impaled by the spear. Wait, who are you? Wallo. No, wait. What question? Oh. Would birds have evolved to mimic or hide from dragons like butterflies do from birds? Butterflies hide from birds? How do they do that? The dragons I don't think are a huge threat because they usually hunt under the gas layer. So they're probably not going to be the major threat. How do butterflies hide from birds? Oh, they're patterned in a way. So that's why their patterns are that way, is to not be detected by birds? Or what? They seem like they're very detectable with all the bright colors. Oh, big circles on the wings to mimic eyes. That's cool. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. So having like a bird that looks like a big smiley face on its back. Yeah, you thought you would lean the spear against something, climb, and then pull it up. Yes, that's the kind of the idea. You guys are writing so much. Olympic sport. Picture you like Olympic sport, like pole vaulting. Some butterflies are poisonous. Yeah, I like the idea of colorful birds. Some would camouflage and some would do the opposite. I'll need to get into that when I do more bird designs here. Alright, I need to get onto your falcons. Who? I don't know who this is. Hi, Nathan. I feel like this is just another Nathan on another account. Yeah, my idea with this was I'm using a, this is like a climbing harness, so it like wraps around the legs here. And you can clip onto things, so, or you could tie ropes onto things, so if you needed to take a rest or whatever, and there was a rope, you could just kind of dangle from that. Worms living in the clouds that sprung out at birds. With the giant worms. Oh, the giant worms. Like snakes? I feel like the birds would want to eat the worms. Unless they're really big. I feel like snakes would work in the clouds really well though. They just constantly have to slither onto the top. Suggestion: flying squirrel-like creatures that can be ridden. That does sound like fun. Did you see the cloud kitty? It's another creature I've designed here. I think it is this one. I need to label these other than just... No, that's not it. This one? Yeah, here we go. Give me 1 second, guys. I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Alright, let's see. What are you guys all saying? Well, thank you, thank you. What program do I use? I use Photoshop. I adore it. It's a lovely, lovely kitty. Giant mountain cloud apes. I like that idea. Some animals would definitely travel in the clouds as well, I think. What does kitty eat? Only eats other kitties. It's a cannibal. I'm just kidding. I just thought of the worst possible thing to say. It's not actually what they eat. I'm sure they eat mushrooms. Cannibal cloud kitty. Yeah. There should be some strictly terrestrial animals. Oh yeah, I think most of them would just be on the mountains, but there would be a few that would also travel in the clouds, and very few that would only live in the clouds. So I was thinking for the bow and arrow, you would want it strung while you're out there. I actually do think in this case, that you'd probably want an over-the-shoulder quiver, because having on your leg here would be really annoying while running. Even though that's way more comfortable when shooting. But he'd want... Which shoulder you put it over? On the same one here. Strictly cannibalistic predator isn't exactly sustainable. No, I'm just kidding. I know that wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, they would. The cloud kitty. Yeah, it would probably eat birds and pounce on the clouds, and fly kind of onto it might go onto the clouds and then jump onto onto the rock face and catch whatever's there. It would probably also hunt mountain goats. No, they actually, if I remember right, they actually don't connect to the heel at all. We did these in school. Yeah, here we go. So they just connect to the bottom of the shoe. So we need some way of connecting it like that. How would they do that? I mean, they'd probably have the boot on. You can't have like a clip thing in it though. Would it have like a harness around their boot, because you want to be able to get out of these really quickly. Could a cloud support a standing body of water? No, definitely not. It would leak through too easily. Could see a Cloudrunner communicating to the bird through sign language or whistles. Yeah, definitely. I would want to do some research into how they actually did that. I mean, it wouldn't be any difference necessarily to normal falconry. Massive group of cloud flying fish jump from cloud to cloud would be very, very cool. See you. Thanks for joining. I don't know how these would connect very well. They need to connect to the front of the foot, but not the back. So you can definitely have this kind of thing. But that's not very secure. The bottom of the boot could have a... Okay, I got an idea. So you have like on the bottom of the boot, there's like... So this is the sole of the boot. It's got a slot. That makes sense, right? That's the right direction. And then the shoe has a hole here. So you put it in, then pull it back, and then you tie it on the top, and then it wouldn't move. Would a Cloudrunner parent? I don't think they would take the babies out here. They don't live out here all day. Like they would do multi-day trips like this, but they wouldn't live out on the clouds. They're like messengers and stuff. And this is like ultra dangerous too, because if you fall through and there's no cloud right close underneath you, you just keep going and then you die. It's a very dangerous job. Are there any cloud vehicles? Yeah, so we did one. I have another idea, and somebody actually mentioned it's just like the idea of a boat. And so I want to draw this one out too, but basically if you just put like a boat, like, and it doesn't need, there's no need for it to have an actual shape to it. It could just be like a round cylinder here. It would just kind of rest on inside the clouds like that, and it would displace the cloud up a little bit, and that would work just fine. Like they'd just be able to hang out in there, and then you just have a weight going through the cloud down to here, and you could have like living quarters down there or storage. So that makes a lot more sense to me. So I want to draw that or design it into this one. But yeah, that's kind of the idea for that stuff. There's no Cloudrunner babysitter available. Take your baby to work day. Those feet feel really small. Anatomy is definitely not my strong suit. Most of the stuff I do like environment painting kind of stuff. So I don't really draw much in general for art. But it's a lot of fun. Nomads that live in the clouds full time would be cool. That would be cool. I don't know why they would do it though, to be honest. I can imagine them traveling from one place to another, but how would, like, for sleeping and all that kind of stuff? Annette, oh my. Griffin, I mean, I like the idea of more creatures, but I feel like griffins is just something that other people have invented. I would rather make my own kind of creatures. I gotta have, like, I've already got dragons, but I don't want it to feel too typical fantasy, I guess, in the sense of the creatures. I think the dragons are already kind of pushing that. Speaking of creatures, come here, Pixie. Puppy wants to say hi. She can fly through clouds really well. It's my own little pet cloud, yeah. My wife actually wanted to name her Cloud in Spanish, which is Nube, which is spelled N-U-B-E. But I didn't want my dog to be called Noob, so I suggested Pixie, and she liked that. Missed opportunity. I should have just called her Noob, N-O-O-B. You just hang out here. Yeah, I like the falconry Cloudrunner. Oh, we need to attach the bow back here. So maybe, I wonder if, like, what a soldier might look like. Or what would be the differences? I wonder if they could have armor, if they would want any really lightweight armor. But it just might be kind of like this stuff, but made out of, like, leather. Let's just do a normal dude, kind of main character, badass dude. Give him a beard. If Cloudrunner is so rare, so I think soldiers would be like fights would mainly take place in clouds, because you're trying to capture some kind of stronghold. Like I'll go to. Where was the one I did? Like this kind of thing. You're kind of up to here, and above. There's no clouds really above. Roughly here, maybe. So that's why they have this kind of fortress here. So the only way up is here, or like climbing the rock face. But there's no clouds above here. They pull some in. Like you can pull them up and then melt them, but it's hard. You need something to attach it onto to pull it up like that. Anywhere above. Oh yeah, here's the cloud level right here. So if you're trying to besiege this, how are you going to get there? You have to get here through the clouds that are all around and get here and then go up. So I think they would have a lot of ships that they would come on, like from clouds, and then climb up here. But they would probably want to be able to at least go across clouds, at least have a kind of knowledge of that. For any cities that were lower than that, they could come and sort of invade from above. And I think there'd be a lot of cities that didn't have this kind of protective layer here. And they would rely more on archers and stuff like that. So it's a lot of archery, a lot of sort of ship to ship fighting and taking over. But you'd want to be able to sort of, if you're fighting, let's say between two ships. So you got the clouds here. You got another cloud over here. And they got their ships. They're going to be boarding each other and stuff, but you also want to be able to jump around and sort of get on the back and stuff like that. So I think cloud runners would be definitely a part of the army, probably sort of like the special forces. How difficult is running on clouds? It's really difficult. I think most people would not be able to do it for more than a few minutes. You'd have to have really strong quad muscles, especially, to be able to kind of keep any kind of consistent pace going. It's like, I mean, just imagine climbing upstairs and not being able to stop too often and just having to climb upstairs consistently for hours. It's kind of that'd be kind of what I'm thinking. So shields are interesting, actually, because I wonder if you could get a shield. I haven't thought about shields at all, actually. So what if there was a shield, you could just kind of put it in the cloud, if it was like a round, deeper shield, and then you could kneel on this, at least with one leg. Put your weight there, and kind of shoot from that. It's a terrible drawing. Oh my goodness. So now cloud joggers. I mean, you could probably, like, if you wanted, if you're right around your city, you could go around and take a little jog around, but it's not going to be an easy thing. It's going to be a really hard workout. Um, Most people would just not want even to try it because it'd be kind of terrifying. I think metal shields would be out of the question. It'd just be too heavy to be carrying around on clouds. I don't think you could windsurf the clouds just because they're kind of like you'd get stuck on it. They're kind of sticky in a sense of like try surfing on grass even. You can't really do it. If you get even if you get a steeper hill, you can't. It's too coarse to kind of just float over the top of it. So I'm wondering if this kind of guy would have like the hardwood panels. But I'm not sure how much good that would do against an arrow anyways, so I don't know. It would definitely help against a blade, just to deflect it a little bit. I think them using any kind of metal armor on the clouds is just kind of out of the question. It'd be way too heavy, and especially even if you had, like, they're based in these cloud ships. You don't want to have any extra weight in those, especially if you have a bunch of soldiers. You can surf on grass if you're going fast enough, but I mean, getting started is the thing, and then also clouds are so bumpy, like they don't go down like that. Whereas like you have a mountain, it's covered in snow and it's fairly smooth, whereas clouds are like that. So I just can't imagine. I can't imagine how that would work exactly. The stratus clouds are really flat though. They don't have an angle to them. And cirrus clouds are way too high up in the atmosphere. I imagine them actually existing somehow. Just kind of get that cool look in the upper atmosphere. These are all more like cumulus clouds. Boomerangs, rope darts. It could work, yeah. Rope darts. What do you mean with rope darts? Well, I kind of disagree though. It's like snow is always, it's not, it looks bumpy, but it's like clouds are actually really, really bumpy. Like they go up and down so much, way more than snow. They have no incentive to be flat, I guess. Whereas snow falling on a surface is always kind of flattens out. Rope dart throwing, let's see. What is this? This looks really cool. Come on, videos. Oh, that's really cool. I imagine that could work. And I feel like there'd be all kinds of cultures that would have different stuff like this. Well, and this is also a really useful tool because you could throw this like over a cloud and then climb up it. That's really cool. You could also, I mean, you could also just attach that a grapple to the a grappling hook to the end of that as well. I really like that idea quite a lot. And then I feel like there's be certain cultures that would have like a more militarized kind of guys like this, and other ones that would be the messengers would be different, and like all the different cultures would have different ways of different tools and ways of traveling. But I think I'm going to call it a day for now, guys. I'm going to head out. But that was very good. Thank you guys so much for all the ideas and for joining, for hanging out here. Save this one. Yeah, we'll design some more. I really like this guy though. Looks pretty cool. Alright everybody, thank you guys so much. And I'll see you next time.